Okay, hello again. Over to my final Swiss game against DreadLordLoki and his Romodi fleet. It's pretty similar to mine in many ways, but there are some significant differences as well. He has a Simon Sovereign with 2, of course, and intensify firepower and quad and linked and gunnery team. So that's a lot of long range firepower. I feel my ISD is a bit envious of his Simon, and he's playing the Star Destroyer version of the Onager with Intel Officer and linked turbos. Um, but for some reason, it only has uh, one weapons team. Uh, but still, my Onager is a bit jealous. That is a terrible brace stripper. And the classic two flotillas and a rather weak screen of squadrons. But as we'll see, I will play my squadrons very poorly indeed in this game. So uh, I don't get any joy out of my Marek or any of my squadrons, really, other than sniping at his weaker screen. Um, so we're at 400, both of us. So we roll, and he gets the choice, and he actually makes me the second player. Normally, he would want to be second player, and he chooses the infested fields. And this is an example where infested fields and Astro tactics, I think, are much closer in value than most people give them credit for. But here, against an Intel officer, Onager, it is definitely better to avoid me being able to recover my tokens, especially with me as second player, and I would always get to move my most exposed ships on top of a rock and get that brace back. So that he wants to avoid that. So in this case, infested fields definitely much better. So we end up setting up like this, and I put this rock a little bit rock or debris a little bit forward because I want to try to tempt his squadrons to come out here, because it looks like my command range will get a bit overextended if he moves down here, but it will be okay. So my hope is that he sends his ties out and that I will be able to pick them off early and then start sniping his ships. This plan it's not a terrible plan. It actually works, kind of works. It takes a little bit longer than I had planned for, but as we'll see later in the game, he expertly snipes both my flotillas. So by the time I have the upper hand in the squadron fight and is ready to sort of go to town with Marek and so forth, um, then I lack the command ability, and that then my squads don't do much, and then Marek ends up dying. So because he can't move around like he's supposed to. Uh, so he comes forward just like I had hoped. Oops. And we maneuver, and you can see I have duplicated my setup from the previous game by sending the Onager on the far side. I felt that it worked pretty well, actually, so I figured I'd try it another time. And so Marek goes forward. He's only sent in one squad, but I am counting on Marek being such a tempting target. But of course, I have relay here, so the range is fine. And then I move the rocks a little bit, and I set up the slug. So if he wants to come forward, he must either stay away from this slug or And this is slug. The slug is not in range of Marek. So it comes forward, it does a little bit of damage, but that's okay. And I get rid of one squadron and has his Mikkel locked up with my Mikkel. Uh, is that worth 3 hull on Marek? I don't know. He has a lot of link turbo lasers, and there is no station to heal on here. So already at this stage, I'm thinking maybe I was overdoing it. If I had a station to retreat on, I think this would have been a super good plan. But without a station, not so much. I also think that it would have been better if I had put Exogort in a more central position here, because I was counting on being able to move away Marek, but then the Gort could have chewed on my middle as well, so I don't know. There are pros and cons here. Some maneuvering. Okay, so I set up both my Gossanti here, sort of a blocking position, but also to be able to command my squads and maybe draw fire away from my... And I moved... this one got to chew on his Mauler. It's almost dead. I get to move the rocks, very useful. And I place the slugs again. I'm pretty pleased with the way my capital ships are maneuvering, but my more offensive squad-centric approach for these two Gasanti, it's worked fine thus far, but at the same time I'm risking my activation advantage by putting them in harm's way. And also I have managed to eliminate some of his squads now, but I have also put these two in harm's way, and I have also exposed my squadrons to damage early, especially Marek, which is the whole point of Marek is for him to be available mid-late game to do his bombing runs, or as an emergency screen against squad heavy fleets. It's not supposed to go squad hunting like this, but so far so good. And he does a mighty shot against my Hondo, and there is an intel officer going off, and nothing happens. And then it starts landing on stuff, but this is getting scary. This is an attempt to strip his tokens, but at the same time I'm using up my squadron activations. I'm not really pleased with the way how this is going. He's already at 1 hull, so I'm not really sure why that scatter needed stripping. Might as well try to shoot at him, but I wasn't confident in Mauler getting an accuracy. And I definitely don't want to send in this guy, because it's such low health. And now I get flacked. And I have nothing else to shoot at, and I bump. I'm happy with that. And link turbo shot here, scattered. Moving slowly forward. Getting off a very good shot with veteran gunners, but of course he has ECM and can brace. This one landed on the debris once. Not optimal, but okay. So, but now, yeah, moving stuff. This part is okay. Marek pulling back. That is also okay-ish, because there's starting to be a lot of slugs here. And he rolls, and he gets an accuracy, of course, because he has a bunch of rerolls. So he kills one flotilla, and then he kills the other flotilla. And now you can see that my plan for late game squadrons fell completely apart. And also my squads are scattered, some are engaged. I haven't really done any damage to ships with Marek, and probably won't do that for the rest of the game either. And his self bumps is very nice maneuvering. And I send in Marek again, and yeah, I get off a good shot here, doing some real damage. He shoots at my onager. I shoot at his onager, and you can see that my shot was even better. With veteran gunners. So sorry, I'm tricked you into saying he shot me, but it was my shot on his onager. So that was a really good shot, I think. And now he shoots my ISD with his intel officer, and it's too much damage I have to discard, so that ISD is pretty much dead by now. And then he comes forward and lands on a rock, and you can see where this is going. I might have had more success by turning my onager towards the bottom here instead of going dead ahead. But yeah, but you can see he's very lucky. He doesn't end up in the arc. It goes just on the outside, so it doesn't immediately die actually. And because I have no more flotillas and no squadron commands coming up, this guy just sits there lamely getting eaten at. Marek is down at 1 health. I will soon be dead. Shooting at my squadrons. Not very interesting. And so he does his worst, but he can't really get in enough damage to kill me. So he chooses to bump. I could have fled down here, but he knew I was dead anyway, so he decided to sort of cause the most trouble for me. I have engineering and a token, so he's at 1 hull. So I decide to shoot his ISD in a way, in an attempt to kill it, and then I just bump him to stay in place. Why did I do that? Why not try to stay alive? That is because there's no way I can avoid this ISD double arcing me with his next activation and then going first and killing my ISD. There is no mathematical possibility. However I move, that's going to happen. So I put a bunch of dice on him, and it's a really good shot. But again, he can ECM, and he's still at 8 hull, but his shields aren't feeling too well. And now the double arc, he could have set up another double arc, of course. And there he goes. And that is the end state. And you can see his ISD is a pretty sorry shape, actually. And I honestly think that if I had been more cautious with my flotillas and not put both of them where they could easily be wiped out, then I could have had better squad control in the late game. And also that bait thing in the beginning with the obstacle and the TIE fighters, that wasn't optimal. I should have kept them closer to me early on, I think, and instead I used Marek to try to pile some damage onto that ISD turns 5, 6. And then I think I could have, I'm not saying that it would automatically have led to a victory, but at least I would have had a fighting chance of taking him out. Because you see, he has 2 shields, 7 hull. That is quite a bit. But you also have noticed that I have put quite a bit of pressure on his defense tokens for a couple of turns here. So with Marek double tapping at least once, then he either would have to start discarding his brace, not relevant. So in just one turn of Mareking, he would have taken 4 damage. And then you can see he would have gotten into trouble because, well, that shot wasn't too great, but it's down to 6 hull basically. So just for fun, shooting at the flotilla. But I think it was other than the squadron part and being a little bit too aggressive with my Gosanti, I was pleased with the game because my obstacle placement and that sort of stuff that worked very well, and also the maneuvering of my big ships went well. And but my good play was countered by very good play from DreadLordLoki. Uh, I think the big difference between this game and the game against Angry Ewok was that against Angry Ewok, I was pretty pleased with my squadron play, but the rest of the game was just trash from me, while Ewok was on the top of things from the start. So this one ended up in a 5-6 loss for me. I don't remember the margin of victory. It wasn't very large, 40, 50 points or something, 30 maybe. I don't know. But as you remember with the Ewok, it was a complete disaster. So it's important to be on top of your game, the entire game, from setup all the way to the end of turn 6. Even the smallest mistakes can sort of add up. So if you waste an important squadron or you lose a Gosanti that you were planning on using in the late game, or lose both your Gosanti, then you maybe lose the ability to turn this into a win. So, well, that's all I have for the Vassal World Cup, and I hope you enjoyed watching this analysis, and I also hope you will be reading and watching when we continue on with other Vassal organized play events. We have one on Sunday, that is tomorrow. That's the live tournament, 3 rounds Swiss, and we have the team mini league coming up, and we also have the second quarter tournament. I have a concept for that ready. We're going to use the unconventional warfare rules that Atomic Mass Games released. We're going to have perk trees. So for each game you play, you can advance down the perk tree. I think that's going to be great fun. Okay, until the next time. Bye.